put up a fight this time.
If they can pull off this this game 2 victory, TnC and Among Us going into it, Among Us are going to be feeling very, very confident. They tear through the groups thus far, and they deal with this Gabby Quap. Of course, shout out to Gabby. He's got obviously, which is very nice to see.
Yeah, it seems like Meralco fixed. We were there when Genespris came out, and he was a fresh face. He was a pub star with a stack that a lot of people didn't think would go too far, and they made it work. You know, and now onto VG from Fnatic. He's just on the up and up. Of course, his actual leaving is delayed, of course, because of certain issues, but you know, he's grown up. Our boy's grown up.
It does feel kind of weird as you get older, seeing all these Tims. That's actually a really smart way to do it, John. Just toss someone into the tree line, and that way you can remove the trees for the tree. I haven't seen that one before, but that's very clever from Tims.
Yeah, that's a big brain play if I've ever seen one. Just making it harder for Whitemon to find his ideal positioning. It looks like he might actually go to the opposite lane, though. He's working his way up top. There is a bit of a clump up, but you should just work his way back down, just ensuring the runes come in. So already setting themselves up for a nice laning phase. This lets KP on top of that access that camp easier as well. Right, so the Venom is going to accelerate his farm if you're not careful, and Among Us will have to keep that in check. Good luck, Bessie.
The battle begins.
They're all
already getting the tips out, and can you translate, John?
Yeah, Gabby's asking for one. Maybe he's asking for first blood.
Okay.
Because, you know, Cuckoo's like, good luck, best friend. Good luck, Bessie.
That's very nice, Cuckoo.
Give him the first blood.
I love this part.
Cuckoo's always a pretty fun guy to watch these games. He's always got something to say. Doesn't always work out in his favor, as we know, but, you know, it's always a bit of a mischievous guy in these games. Always a bit of fun to watch.
Yeah. And he's going to have a lane to work with. Gabby, and I mean, both of them have to go against each other. So there's that asking for first blood still. Not a simple time for Gabby, right? He is going for the Scream of Pain to just clear out the waves. You don't want to trade with the Centaur. You can see the supports going at it. March and Jabs not leaving each other alone. The first Fire Spirit's already expended, and that's where the support Phoenix rotates around, right? Just getting the spirits off. Just going to have a simple pull, and they're just going to wait out those levels. I think Jabs is going to be comfiest at level 3. When you've got Fire Spirits up and the dive, and that's when you can dance as the Phoenix.
Abed's copying a lot of harassment in that mid lane as well, John, up against Armel. Of course, this does not favor the Storm being up against the TA. It's a very annoying lane for the Storm Spirit, but at least for now, Abed is doing actually better than Armel in terms of CS, believe it or not. Armel was very focused in on just harassing Abed out of the lane, but now Abed is really trying to give it back to Armel, and he will force out the salve usage from our TA.
Yeah, and this is what you love to see from the Abed Storm. He does play aggressive. He's got this level 3 spike now, holding out on the skill point. But, you know, Armel's also at that point where he's got the side blades up, so he can kind of get his hits in. Gonna be a back and forth lane. Armeldo being a full creep wave behind, it doesn't bode well. You can't allow yourself to bleed out as a TA. You're a momentum-based hero.
Do this.
You need to find that early farm here.
Of course, the bot lane is the one we haven't talked about yet. Nice toss back from Tims onto Whitemon, but this is going to be Whitemon and 23 Savage up against Tims and, of course, KP on the POS 3 Venomancer. So far, everything's going very well for 23 Savage. He is a bit low in regen, but in terms of CS, he is leading. And he is looking like he's having a very, very free time. You would say that is due to Whitemon, of course, just splitting up the creep wave, making it very, very hard for them to close the gap onto Savage, allowing him to just take very safe CS.
Yeah, I mean, you can see KP, he's been trying to land that Gale from a safe distance, but he's always forced to try try it from max range, and Savage gets to dodge. So you miss out on that spell, you miss out on that laning presence, and they're just free to dance here. I mean, Savage is so low on HP, but he's confident enough to just stand there and last hit.
That he is. Because you always have the nature's, or the living armor, I meant to say, that can heal you up very nicely as the Morphling, but he does get salved up now by Whitemon and will be able to just return back to the lane. Still top lane, March in massive trouble. Jabs wants to chase him down for that first blood, but it is only a level 1 Fire Spirit. So March will be able to survive and get his own salve off. Jabs is really applying quite a lot of pressure here, forcing the 1v1 up at that top lane, which obviously is going to favor Cuckoo.
Oh yeah, it's been a smooth time for Cuckoo so far because of that, and even when it comes down to Jabs versus March, without the Fire Spirits, you're going to lose a lot of HP with a minus armor of the Wave of Terror, and it's all just for these runes, which aren't even up top.
Well, Cuckoo's in trouble. He might be the first blood. Gets a nice hoof stomp off, but Gabby might still go for this chase. He does not have Blink, however. So won't be able to close the gap there, but this will mean Gabby should have Cuckoo out of his lane for a while. That should make him feel a lot more confident.
Yeah, it's a lot of low heroes across the map. Now, Cuckoo does have the double ring of regen, so he's going to be pumping himself full soon. He's got one more tango left as well. Not going to be out of that lane for too long, but it's been a really conservative game from both sides. Just no first blood, no commitment. On the edge, just really kind of feeling each other out, you know, just seeing how far would you go for that first blood here.
That's the thing, nobody wants to die as the first hero, right? Like, you've got all these plays in this game that can take your life with one little mistake. Nobody wants to make that first mistake, as it is going to be so valuable. Bounty runes are going to spawn up. Jabs will steal one off March. March will have to take a lot more harassment from this Phoenix. Luckily for March, however, they are both just level 2, so you don't have the level 2 Fire Spirits up yet. And had that been level 2 Fire Spirits, he may have actually died. But they are staying well away from that top lane, not soaking any XP. That does mean both these supports are going to be very low level for quite a while.
Yeah, it's going to enable these safe lane for
having a look, John. Armel, but Abed going to use the Vortex in that mid lane and be able to bottle up. Armel is really searching for those side blades.
Yeah, he has to, because now that Abed's at 6, you're not going to find those kill opportunities. He's going to be safe enough to zip away, and any kill op on the 1v1 now is kind of gone. He needs supports to come in if they want to play aggressive. He does have Tims around, but Tims isn't looking healthy. Just going to secure those runes once more.
Radiant's top tower
still 0-0, not one kill occurring. Net worth, slight net worth lead for Among Us. Still going to be concerned if you are TnC, as Savage is still having a very free game. KB has not been able to slow him down. He's just remained alive and remained healthy enough to contest this laning phase. He will continue at this point. I mean, he's just got too many levels now to really die. A Strength Morph will just keep him alive no matter what, up until you have like a Spirit Vessel. But mid lane, Abed, there's still some stacks away here from Armel, and this is a really big brain play here from Abed, understanding exactly where Armel's going to be. And look at this, he's just taking all his stacks away, and Armel, he doesn't really have the mana pool nor the damage to fight back, so he's going to have to call in March to help him out. But you've also got Jabs there to make sure Abed stays safe.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to stack for yourself, you stack for your own, and you steal.
Just solo picks off Cuckoo, commits a Sonic Wave, does get the kill. But bot lane, KB's being chased down, and 23 Savage able to get a kill as well. So both position 1s getting a trade across the map. It'll be a 1-for-1. So Abed is getting chased down in the mid lane. He has been slowed up, but he will be alright.
Just a lot of back and forth, still even across the board. Both safe laners finding kills on the off lane, keeping it even. This early farm, though, is looking a bit better for Savage, just slightly ahead of Gabby. Of course, that does mean his farm is going to be a bit better. He does have the Morbid Mask. It's time to just play it safe, build up. We're gonna have to see what Savage opts for first as a Titan, whether or not the shotgun build is the play, or if something like a Manta style to be defensive is what's required. Now, big timers here for both sides are those mid lanes. Abed still needs to find his first mid-game item, RML as well. Still waiting for the power treads. So that's where a lot of this tempo is going to revolve, and again, you saw the emphasis on those stacks. That's where you would love to play as either mid laner. You see some movement up. Savage switches up top, pushing that tier 1. Down bot, you only have KP, and his Venom wards, they're not quite enough to do as much damage as the Centaur Morph can up top.
We'll group up and try to get this push going. And see, they do have a couple of supports up here. They could try and defend along with Gabby. We'll have that Sonic Wave back up in about 20 seconds, but Savage has already gotten started on that tier 1 tower, and it looks like he is not going to back off. He's going to go ahead and just take it all out. TnC, there'll be no defense. They're going to TP down to the bot lane. They'll try and secure the opposing tier 1. Only problem being, though, is Among Us is going to have time to defend this if they want.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're trying to push into a treant. Whitemon still got the trees in the backline. There's no wards to intercept, no deep movement here from TnC. So that tier 1, healthy. It's a treant game. It's very hard to
get back into it. So Among Us, they are still trying to force in that tier 1 mid tower and start getting some pressure out, because TnC, they have not been able to trade those bottom tier 1s. So there is definitely a bit of an objective advantage for Among Us now. They do have an opening to try and get some decent damage out here in this mid.
Yeah, and they've also taken control of that top jungle in its entirety. It's not safe to farm. They've got really forward wards, and Abed's just continuously making it hard for him to farm. He takes all the creeps. It doesn't feel good to be the TA, just having a storm poke through, and there's nothing you can do about it. They need the numbers to stop that, and well, they're scattered across the map trying to find farm elsewhere.
Abed is still just slightly behind RML right now in farm. Has been very focused in on stealing farm rather than going and getting his own. Abed must be confident enough that he'll be just fine even while lacking a couple hundred gold. So far, he does look to be fine. So he's going to make a zip onto Tim's. Does he have the damage output here? He'll zip again. Tim's with a nice toss back. And Abed is a bit too low on mana to continue the chase. Tim's will be just fine to walk out of there.
Yeah, it's a missed opportunity for Abed, but at this point, you know, there's really not many opportunities on the map anyway. It's just a much slower game. 1-1, 10 minutes in, 11 minutes in. You are seeing progression here in terms of items. There's an urn ready on KP. So they're on the path to counteract that regen you have on Savage. They can start to set their eyes on the Morphling when that pick up if they want to play aggressive. They're still trying to make progress in that bot tier 1, but again, it's the Whitemon game. It's the tree. It just drops living armor, and you just can't. You just can't do anything.
Nope. He's just going to keep healing that up and keep buying more time. Keeps his grasp. Be out. Creeps will just die now in the vines. And well, it looks like TnC, they've had enough of that bot lane. They're going to go through mid and maybe try to start a team fight. They have all their ultimates up. Apart from Poison Nova, which KP didn't really level up, you haven't really got Swap yet either because March is at 5. But you've got the Sonic Wave. KP, of course, getting some nice vision there with the Plague Wards. But Abed won't zip in yet. He's just waiting for that right moment. Go in with a Shadow Poison onto Jabs, and now Gabby forced to blink out. They'll use the Stampede, chasing down KP on the Venom, and it looks like KP is going to die, and now a great overgrowth out from Whitemon with the air guard from Jabs, and they are just melting for the side of TnC. Armel is going to lose his own life, and that's a 3-for-0 trade for Among Us.
Oh, just outstanding plays. You've got Tim's being sneaky, though. He has the Avalanche Toss.
Oh, nice Sonic Wave out from Gabby to finish it off. TnC trying to fight back 2v5. They're going to get 2 kills out of this. They will lose the mid-tier 1 tower, but they do at least get something back for their trouble.
got big kills, slowing down Savage, punishing him for being full agi, which, you know, you don't mind as the morph, but it wasn't safe. They didn't. They actually did have a sentry, but right outside of range of Tim's walking. So lucky rune find, maximizing that trade. You're still not too happy about the power.
Oh, Abed. Right on target. Does manage to pick off Gabby there on the Queen of Pain, who was trying to deal with jabs on the Phoenix, and jabs will give him the tip. Took him a couple seconds, but he eventually gets it out, and Gabby not going to be too happy about that one.
On and off, but we've got the go signal ready to jump back into it. And looking at the progression here in the farm, Savage, of course, number 1 on the net 4 chart, is looking to finish the Manta style first. So a defensive item to get the purges off to ensure that he's not going to be burning out from the DOTs. Very important in this game. You look at the side of TnC for their part. The Orchid still has to come out here for Gabby, so it has been stalled out a bit, lacking just a few more parts. And once that's up, he can jump in, get the control onto Abed, and that's going to be key. Abed does not have defensive items. You can punish the Storm if you find that Orchid early.
They need to get that Orchid up, though. I mean, he's focusing on his farm, but it's going to take a couple more minutes for that.
Radiant are scanning.
They really do want to start slowing down Abed. I mean, this is a Storm after all, and to make matters worse, it is an Abed Storm, which means it's going to be very, very good. Well, he feels very confident just rushing the Bloodstone, which is not something you see very often anymore with the position 2 Storms, but
Radiant's middle tower.
well, Abed, he just wants to be free on this Storm. He wants to be able to zip around and do whatever he wants.
Yeah, and
Be the goal here.
yeah, once he has that up, of course, it's going to be harder to pin him down. The control from TnC, we talked about this, it's not particularly fantastic for a Storm, so there's a lot of pressure on Tim's for his blink, and he is saving up about 1,000 gold off on the Tiny. Once you've got that, you can start to look for those opportunities to lock Abed in, punish him out. There's a blink now, though, on Cuckoo, and that's also a timer there for Among Us, right? Cuckoo tends to be the one to find those openings. With a blink, they're going to want to reveal it, and they do smoke up.
But they do. P going to be in a spot of danger. It's mid lane. He does get the Hood of Defiance up, and Abed not getting the zip he quite wanted. Geek Fam are smoked around, and KB stuck around the corner, so he is going to go down.
Radiant's
Does get the Poison Over off in time, but it's not really going to mean anything. So nobody is there to capitalize off this. Among Us, they will just continue to take over this map.
It's a decent pick off. TnC does get the opening to push that bot tier 1. Armel does have the Desolator, so living armor's not going to be enough to stop the push anymore. They're going to try to go for a trade, and they smoke up again, Jabs.
He does have the egg, and they do still have the overgrowth.
Invisibility.
They've got that combination along with the Stampede, but little do they know they will be fighting into the Orchid of Gabby, and as well as that, the Blink Deso now of Armel. The Blink just out on the Courier, flying out to Armel as we speak. And so KB, he's going to TP up towards that top lane with Tim's, and they want to get this fight started, but Savage jumping straight in, burst down March. Now KP, that is just too much damage to take. He is also going to die. And TnC, they've not timed this well. There's your Stampede out and Jabs. He's going to dive in after Armel, drops the egg right on top of his head, and with a Sonic Wave, it doesn't even connect on anyone. It kills off Cuckoo, but that's going to be it. Meanwhile, Among Us will clean up 4 of TnC's heroes for 1. Gabby, the only man to survive this.
I mean, you're going to be very pleased with yourself if you're Among Us. The perfect team fights flying out. TnC can't afford to stream in 1-by-1, and we kind of saw that in game 1. Now, we assumed it was because they weren't used to playing with Tony Stark, but they've got Gabby here. The coordination seems to be slightly off. They have to commit as a team in these fights. They have to be disciplined with their positioning. It's a Phoenix plus Tree, Overgrowth and Egg. It's a basic combination that if you're not, ready for it, it's going to do a ton of work. So you have to be cautious there. 5k lead now for Among Us and TnC. That was the Blink Desert reveal. Not the way they'd want, but they do smoke up. They know those belts are down.
Radiant are scanning.
They can make this one work. I mean, there is no Sonic Wave on Gabby right now. Maybe don't really have the best teamfight abilities without it, but they're going to go after the Roshan play. There is vision from the side of Among Us. They know that it will happen once Tim's smoke does wear off, but for now they are unaware. Now the pings are starting to come out. Cuckoo, he realizes, but he gets swapped in. He cannot stampede yet. It's on cooldown, so he is going to die. Now Savage Wave forming in after KB. He also just blew up March, but they've lost jabs. Still, Roshan. Armel will get back to it. Your Bloodstone is now up on Armel, but he's been silenced by Gabby. He does use the active of the Bloodstone, but he is going to die. Oh, and that's a big deal. He just lost those charges.
That is not the way you want it. Yeah, we've talked about Bloodstone reveals like that. Never feels good. And the Roche goes on for TnC. It's not as fast as you'd expect. There is an Overgrowth and Stampede. Among Us could still try to make a play, but after losing those heroes, it doesn't look like
They're going to smoke. They're going to try, but the Roshan is going to drop. Get Cuckoo. He does jump in, but Armel has already got the Aegis up. Now the Sonic Wave out from Gabby, connecting on two. Tims will fight back. Does kill off Cuckoo. But they have got the Aegis down. Savage still in the middle of all this. Wants to focus Armel. No, he was going after KB, but nobody is focusing down that egg apart from KB, and well, he's going to get stunned up, and they are just going to melt once again on TnC's end. As Among Us still manage to take the team fight and do end up winning it out.
They killed 6 heroes because they had to go through the Aegis. It works out perfectly. And the play there from Whitemon, the patience for him to get the Overgrowth when they were all clumped up. They got the follow-up hoof stomp right before they lost anything else. And they just come out on top. Among Us, 7k lead, 16-8, 20 minutes in. TnC, they just need to be a lot more disciplined. They keep clumping up into these fights. That is not what their lineup wants to do. And it's just feeding it to Among Us right now. They have to be split up a bit more. Play from afar. They've got this Blink and Tims. You need to have Tims just stay outside if they're going to go for the Roche. And now, the way to bounce back is pickoffs. Tims and Armel can set up for you. You can even throw in Gabby if you want. They can go hunting. They have seen some of these supports be alone. You know, they know that Cuckoo tends to be out forward a lot. That's something they can punish. And oh no.
Tims? That mid lane getting caught out by Jabs and Abed. His team right behind him, but looks like he just died too quick.
Yeah, I mean, Abed, you know, even if he lost those charges in the Bloodstone, with the added mana pool, he can zip from so far away, get a lot of damage off, and nuke you down before you know it. So TnC have to be cautious now with their support standing in front like that. They need to play in that jungle. They've got control of their triangle. They've got control of the bot jungle. That's where they can play catch up, but the gap keeps growing. Savage, he's got the Scotty up. He skipped, he skipped the shotgun. He's going for raw stats, and his right click is looking really mean now.
He is. The Abed just going to work towards that BKB on the Storm, and that's going to make it pretty much impossible to control him on this Storm Spirit. That's why he just doesn't bother with the Orchid, because he wants BKB into the Aghanim Scepter. We did see this the last time from Abed, and he's very effective with that Aghanim Scepter Vortex. That mini black hole. But TnC, they're going to need to keep up here. They're 9k behind. Things are looking very, very tough. This TA Quap kind of draft, you don't want to go into the late game.
No.
Not up against the Morphling
not.
Storm.
definitely not. It's a momentum-based draft. Even KP on the Venorite, he has very sensitive timings in the hero, and he hasn't made progress. You look at his farm, he's barely above jabs. He's about 700 gold above the opposite pause 4. Never a good spot for the pause 3 to be in. He hasn't even finished up that Spirit Vessel. He has the gold now, but he's saving up, and those
attacking the tower. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening with the servers today, John, but they are not happy.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's structures are
very frustrating.
Yeah, it's a pain, but now you've got to deal with it still. They do manage to trade the top tier 1 there. Gabby gets the work done. They get to invade the triangle of the Radiant side. Their tier 2 though melts way too fast. It's just Savage, and he's just gonna right click. They give it for free. TnC are just not ready to defend. Probably just gonna look at the high ground.
Yeah, I mean, Savage is, yeah, he's moving up to the high ground. He's almost got a Satanic up now. His farm has just been way too quick. And he's going to get some damage out, force the TPs back, and then just walk away. No need to overextend. We're only 23.5 minutes in.
Dire's middle tower,
like I said, he is getting very close to that Satanic now. Just needs the Reaver up. Once that's up, it's like you really start to question how they're going to deal with him. You still don't have the Spirit Vessel on KP either. So, all that strength morphing, all that Satanic healing, it is not going to be adjusted by a Vessel yet. That's going to mean Savage can just do whatever he wants freely.
Yeah, KP had to divert towards that pipe first, just to protect his team from the magic damage they are receiving from Abed, from Jabs and the Phoenix. Give themselves a fighting chance in the middle of all of it, which is fair enough. I think right now, survivability is the issue. It's not finishing off these heroes. They can't even stay alive long enough to be significant damage. It's going to help the cause. They are, you know, still trying to build up that farm. Take a look at Armel. BKB's almost done, and that's going to help him stand in front as the TA, try to get those hits out. Still has to watch his spacing, but you won't worry about being controlled by these stuns that do come out from Among Us. So that's going to be very helpful for the TA. Gabby, of course, does have his BKB. So those tools are starting to line up here for TnC. Might see that come out in probably the next defense, as Among Us are the ones, you know, they're the ones being aggressive. They're the ones with control on the map right now.
Oh, Tim's, he tries to go onto Abed with that avalanche toss, but he is all alone. Of course, he did take the bounty rune away from Abed, but it's going to cost him his life. And that kind of goes to show you how desperate TnC are right now in this game number 2, as they really need every amount of gold they can find. And Tim's willing to throw his life away just to get a bounty rune.
It helps the team, but you sacrifice so much. Again, they rely on the Tiny to be up front to actually get the toss back plays. And without that Tiny, they don't want to commit the buyback. They're gonna have to lose this tower. It gets even worse as Abed skips the BKB, goes straight into the Ags. Mike, he's just ready to go.
He's already queued up an Ags Blessing on top of that. Just no BKB to be queued up. Just, yeah, I'll just buy an Ags Blessing straight after.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Still fresh, still being developed. It's not done. I mean, this is early access, you know? It's an early access game.
Top tower is under attack.
It's not fine for TnC though. Disarm ready on Cuckoo. Heaven's Halberd good to go. So he's gonna be a bit more durable. If you do jump in as Armel, you have to watch your BKB use. You have to ensure that the Halberd isn't up first, because if it is, then you're stuck in a very awkward spot as yeah.
Radiant are scanning.
It's about a minute 20 off, so a bit more time until the rush still. Abed.
fortified.
Next level players.
Oh, swap.
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
You wouldn't have died here when your base is on fire like this. You're gonna have to buy back.
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Keep them in check.